Most wasp stings are a temporary nuisance. You feel a sharp pinch, maybe deal with a bit of swelling, and move on. But the tarantula hawk operates on an entirely different scale. The females of this species wield a stinger up to 12 millimeters long, nearly half an inch of pure biological weaponry. To measure exactly how bad a sting like that can get, entomologists rely on the Schmidt Sting Pain Index, a scale that ranks insect venom based entirely on the physical suffering it inflicts on a human being. On that index, the tarantula hawk sits right at the very top. Out of all the stinging insects on the planet, its venom is matched by only one other species, the South American bullet ant. One researcher who experienced it firsthand described the reaction as immediate, excruciating, unrelenting pain. It is an experience so intense that it simply shuts down your ability to do anything except drop to the ground and scream. Mental discipline fails in this situation. The venom triggers a blinding, shockingly electric overload to your nervous system that lasts for 5 solid minutes. This level of agony serves a highly specific purpose. It creates a biological perimeter, an impenetrable defense mechanism that guarantees the wasp is left entirely alone in the wild. Because the wasp prefers to avoid using that venom if it doesn't have to, it advertises its status using a concept called aposematicism. This is when an animal uses bright, contrasting colors as a universal warning sign to tell predators to stay away. You can see this warning system in its physical design. It broadcasts its presence with an iridescent metallic blue-black body and vivid rust-orange wings. That neon warning is almost universally respected across the animal kingdom. Very few creatures are willing to risk a meal that can fight back with that kind of electricity. The roadrunner is one of the rare exceptions, having adapted to swallow the wasp's whole.
The wasp's reputation is so terrifying that entirely different insects have copied its wardrobe. Completely harmless moths, flies, and beetles have evolved to mimic those exact blue and orange colors, stealing the wasp's protection without actually carrying any venom. If this intense coloration successfully keeps predators away, we have to look deeper to find why evolution equipped the wasp with a weapon capable of such devastating offense. That half-inch stinger functions as a highly specialized surgical tool, engineered for the express purpose of hunting massive tarantulas. When a female wasp finds a target, she uses her long, hooked claws to grapple with the spider. It is a frantic, tumbling physical struggle between an agile flyer and a heavy, armored ground predator. She needs perfect precision. To win, the wasp must drive her stinger directly between the spider's legs to strike the central nervous system. Once injected, the venom permanently paralyzes the host, effectively turning the massive arachnid into living, unspoiled meat. With the spider entirely immobilized, the mother wasp drags her prize into a specially prepared underground burrow. She lays a single egg on the spider's abdomen and seals the entrance shut. This diagram shows the grisly efficiency of the next stage. When the wasp larva hatches, it burrows directly into the paralyzed spider. It meticulously feeds around the heart and vital organs, keeping the host alive so the food source stays fresh. After several weeks of feeding in the dark, the larva finally pupates. It completes its life cycle by breaking out of the hollowed-out shell of the spider as a fully formed adult wasp. The excruciating pain of the sting is simply an evolutionary utility. It is an absolute necessity to ensure the next generation has a perfectly preserved food source waiting for them underground. A strange shift occurs once the wasp reaches adulthood. Despite its violent birth and its weapon of mass agony, the adult wasp is remarkably docile. Once they emerge from the burrow, they leave the meat-eating phase of their youth behind. Adult tarantula hawks are strictly nectarivorous, surviving entirely on the sugar of local flowers. They spend their days avoiding the harsh summer heat, casually drifting from western soapberry trees to pink milkweed clusters, just like these, to feed. The males are completely harmless. They lack a stinger entirely. They spend hours hill-topping, sitting atop tall plants in the afternoon sun, watching for passing females. Because they rarely sting unless severely provoked, they have developed an unexpected cultural reputation. In some places, they are treated as a local treasure. In 1989, following an election held by elementary school children, the tarantula hawk was officially adopted as the state insect of New Mexico. One of the planet's most ruthlessly efficient biological weapons, designed for a life of subterranean horror, ultimately ends its days as a protected state symbol, celebrated for its beauty and peaceful nature.